Mark, we're a few days on now from another positive result at the weekend. Looking back on the footage, what did you really enjoy about that win at the weekend?
Yeah, players had a go. We were competitive. Followed on from the Tamworth game, really. We were together, organised, and it's a really tough place to go. It took York to the 94th minute the other night to get a winning goal. So it's a really tough place, and it's a really good win. But you have to, like I always say, tactically, none of that matters if you don't have the players that are going to run about and put shift in.
We spoke before about obviously squad shortage at the moment with the level of injuries. How happy were you with the players coming into the side in the last few weeks and how they've stepped up into the role?
We've got really small. We are short in numbers. We've got a really busy schedule. We've got 7 games in March. So of course we'd like to bolster the ranks, but it's really difficult trying to get anything that's better than what we've got, and that's the key to it, is trying to bring in somebody better than what we've got. So yeah, we are short numbers, but the players that have been involved in the last 2 games the difference is that they're, for me, that they're pointing in the right direction altogether and having a right go.
We spoke last week about Frank getting his first goal of the season and how nice a moment that was for him. This week we're talking about Harvey Greenslade getting a goal. How happy were you for him in that moment? Because he's had a difficult season, whether that's injuries or trying to rebuild himself on loan.
I'm happy for all of them. To win a game, it's really tough to win a game at this level. Really tough. So when you do get that win, it's a great feeling for the group. Frank's job is to score goals. They're forward players and they're paid to score goals. Harvey's, like you say, had a frustrating time, being ill, being injured, being out on loan. I just worked hard in training and showed that he's a good character, and that's the most important thing for me with Harvey, is that he's a real good character, works his socks off every day, and his aim now is to keep improving technically and keep putting himself in positions where he can score. Frank as a number 9, his work rate has been incredible and really difficult to play against, and that's what you want. When Jarv's been playing up there, hard to play against, and if the number 9 does that, it then makes it easier for the rest of the team, and Frank's done that really well.
Southend we'll talk about in just a moment, but squad-wise, are you expecting any more players to come back who weren't available for Saturday? Obviously, it's great to have McGurk back and available at the weekend. Anyone else anywhere near fitness? Says Williams maybe at the back? No,
like I spoke before, Morgan Williams will be towards the end of the season, as will Jarvis, if at all. Jacob Maddox is declared himself still not fit, which is not ideal because we brought him into play. So yeah, nobody else will be available for Saturday. But listen, the boys are available. They've got 2 wins out of 2, so I'm sure they're capable of going and doing it again.
Southend are going to be a very difficult side coming up. Before we get onto their squad, how impressed have you been by them as a club in the last couple of seasons, given what has happened behind the scenes, the fans having to rally and being so close to disappearing altogether?
Big club, big attendances, historically being a championship club, and they got good players. Still got a good squad. Whether you talk about them being close to going out of business, they've still got good players and a good squad, and I'm sure that no matter what's going on in the background, once you're on the pitch, you don't worry too much about that because you've got a job to do. The manager and the coaches have done well. They've pointed the club in the right direction. And they'll want to be contesting the playoffs, but we're not too far away from them. And we've played them obviously last year in the trophy here, and we've played them already away this season, and we're looking forward to another good game on Saturday.
I was going to say, Kevin May is probably a manager that you come up against a few times in your career.
Twice.
Is that the only 2 times you faced him?
I think, twice. Last year in the trophy, no, 3 times, because the back end of the season we got relegated. They beat us here on the telly, I believe. So good guy, good coach, done really well.
as a squad, they've obviously, you mentioned before, they've been pushing up the league table and getting quite a lot of goals. What are you expecting from them in terms of their performance? Only one loss in their last 6 in the league.
They've got good players. They've got a good way, good structure. They know what they're doing. So it's, like I say every week, it's about on the day. We talk about what they've done, what we've done, this player, that player. It's about momentum. And when you're asking me these questions 2 weeks ago, when we couldn't win a game, I was telling you it's about momentum, and it's about bad things come to an end when you work really hard. Good things can come to an end. But you have to, all of it is, the only way it turns around is to keep working really, really hard, being humble, honest, and sticking to what you do. And that's what it'll come down to on Saturday. It'll come down to which team win the most individual duels. It always does. Then once that happens, the tactical side of it will come about.
And before I go, I wanted to ask you about your influences as a manager, because I've chatted to a few people this week about their sporting influences. For you, growing up in sport, coming through your career, who in particular has had a big impact on you and the way you've developed as both a player and then a manager?
My dad, really. I grew up in a football family. Obviously, my dad was a top player and international and a good manager. So when you grow up in that environment and you're seeing it on a day-to-day basis, I think you see so many things, and you naturally will follow. You'll naturally follow that path, you know. Like you say, day to day, I grew up with it as my dad being a player, and then being a really good manager, and you pick up things, don't you, in traits. And I'm sure there'll be some things that I've picked up that without knowing that. So it's difficult to say anyone else, because I obviously grew up with it, and I would say my dad.
It's in the blood.
Yeah, I think it always is, isn't it? And
Good luck for Saturday.
Thank you.
Get the VIP treatment at Hewish Park. Enjoy a 2-course meal prepared by our own executive chef, a match day ticket, match programme, team sheet and allocated parking. You can even put your questions to manager Mark Cooper. Why not book online today?